All right, y'all, welcome back to Twisted Twenties. This is a podcast dedicated to reminding you of your God given purpose through personal testimonies, trials, and grief. I believe that God has created each and every single one of us with a purpose, for a purpose, and it is up to us to align with it. Today's episode is so important. I got the title from Babe, Consistently Inconsistent. And I feel like this is very important because I have been consistently inconsistent in my life. And I wanted to touch on this because I think it's so vital for us to understand what's important, what's a priority, what's not important. And we put so many other things before our purpose. We put so many things before what we are truly called to do. And we don't even realize that we are being consistently inconsistent with things that do not pertain or do not matter or that do not have anything to do with our purpose. So, y'all, a few updates. I am looking for co-hosts. If you would love to be a co-host on Twisted Twenties, please send me a 1 to 2 minute video explaining why you would love to be a co-host, what valuable information you could bring to the TTS fam, and I would love to have you on the show. Also, you guys, my emails are open. Please email me any suggestions, any questions, anything that you guys would love to have feedback on. If you want to email me reviews or anything like that, you can email me at submissions@twistedtwenties.org. I think that's all the updates I got for y'all today because it's so much going on, y'all. Like, God really been moving. I've been making so many connections in the film industry that I have been so focused on writing. I have been writing hours a day, and it has been a long time since I've actually had the passion to write anything. Since my mom passed, actually. Like, after my mom passed, I just stopped writing completely. All my passion, all my creativity for it just went out the door. And now that I'm actually getting it back, it's just been consistent, just consistent. And I'm talking about I'm writing like 4 hours a day. And that's really not as long as I used to write, but it's a start and I'm truly enjoying it. So with that being said, y'all, we are going to go ahead and get into today's podcast episode. All right, y'all. So I feel like the best thing for me to do with this episode is open up with the definitions of consistent and inconsistent. So I went on Google. Okay, I did a little Googling. And according to Google, the word consistent means unchanging in nature, standard, or effect over time. Inconsistent means not staying the same throughout. Now, I always like to give the textbook, the dictionary definition, but I also like to give my view and my definition on words whenever it comes to me having to give definition. So my definition for consistent would be a continuous or ongoing action or nature. And then when it comes to being inconsistent, I would say not being continuous. And because I have talked about this before, starting and stopping is what I consider to be inconsistent. I always have biblical, okay, well, I'm starting this now because I really been studying my Bible a lot. But I want to start showing you guys biblically what the Bible says about laziness and how we reap the benefits of being consistent. But to start off with, we don't really understand how much of what we do in our day-to-day lives is inconsistency. Like, I really sometimes have to get on to myself because I will spend 4, 5, 6 hours watching The Good Doctor on Hulu, but only spend 2 hours working on content. And God is like, you're being inconsistent. You're not making what your purpose is a priority. Sometimes we put other things like Hulu, Netflix, hanging out with our friends, and doing other things before our purpose. And I'm not saying that we can't watch Hulu. I'm not saying we can't watch Netflix. I'm not saying we can't hang out with our friends. But what I am saying is sometimes we have to make sacrifices. What sacrifices are you making to be consistent in your life? What sacrifices are you making to see the fruit of what you're producing? What sacrifices are you making to actually see your vision come to life? And that was a hard reality for me. Like, that was something very, very hard for me to really get. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, y'all, I still struggle with being inconsistent. Since I've been focusing on screenwriting, I have not created any more content for Twisted 20s. But I will not let my podcast go, but I just haven't created my content. And God has already been on to me about that. He's like, if you would just put yourself out there, if you would put your voice out there, if you would make your videos, make your content, then Twisted 20s just has potential to just grow even more if I create that content. But I do struggle with trying to focus on more than one thing at one time. Like, when I get in on one thing, that's all I can focus on. Like, I can't focus on multiple things at one time. I know I really should work on that, but it's just really, really hard for me. But anyway, I wanted to share really like 2 verses. I've been reading the book of Proverbs. If you guys have not read the book of Proverbs, the book of Proverbs is the book of wisdom. And there has been 2 particular verses that has stuck out to me this week alone. And that is Proverbs chapter 12, verse 24. Diligent hands will rule, but laziness ends in forced labor. Now, the reason why this verse speaks to me is I feel like that's what we do. Is we are in forced labor, working our 9-to-5 jobs, working for other people, building their companies, building their businesses, knowing darn well we don't want to go in. Every morning we wake up, gotta go to work today. Gotta deal with these people today. It's forced labor. We're being lazy. Like, when I think about this verse, I think that the lazy route is working for someone else instead of doing what God has told us to do. Like, that's the laziness. And that is why laziness ends in forced labor. We're forced to work for someone else because we won't listen to what God has told us to do. We're forced to pay our bills and living a life of check to check, when God really is like, hey, if you would just do this, you could be financially secure. You could be financially free. Diligent hands will rule. Diligent hands will rule. It's biblical, y'all. It's biblical. God is telling us already, if you are diligent, your hands will rule. But if you are lazy, it will end in forced labor. And for me, forced labor is definitely doing something that I don't want to do. Something that I have to do to get by. Something that I have to do to pay my bills. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 24, okay? Y'all go look it up, read it yourselves, and ask God to reveal to you what that verse means to you. Because what I may get may not be for you. But what I got from that verse is exactly what I just told you. When we are lazy, when we do not listen to God, when we are consistently inconsistent with the things that God has given us, with the gifts that God has given us, we end up having to do forced labor, things that we do not enjoy doing just so we can pay our bills, just so that we can get by. Another verse, Proverbs chapter 15, verse 22, plans fail for the lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. We be so caught up, I'm going to do it on my own. I'm going to do it on my own. And this is another reason why I feel like for me, it caused me to be consistently inconsistent, because I started to get overwhelmed, trying to do everything on my own, trying to come up with the business plans, trying to learn on my own, trying to create content, trying to do this, trying to do that, because I didn't want help. I wanted to do everything on my own. And that is why plans fail, because we don't have wise counsel. And let me rephrase that. God don't mean just go out and ask anybody. God don't mean go out and get counsel and advice from just anybody. He is saying wise counsel. Somebody that's going to pour into you. Somebody that's going to help your business. Somebody that's going to help you grow. Not little Pookie from down the street who really don't mean no good for you. He only want to see you fail. Not your friend you be telling all your business to, and they secretly be jealous of you, secretly hating on you behind your back, telling all your business to everybody. That's not the wise counsel you need to be seeking. And sometimes that's why our plans be failing. Sometimes that's why stuff do not work out. Because we seeking counsel from people who really is a Judas. Okay? They smiling, they grinning, they kissing you, and they a whole Judas out here. And that's another reason why we are consistently inconsistent. We don't have counsel members, wise counsel around us to encourage us to be our accountability partners. Okay? Now, next thing. We think we be busy, but we really not. We be focused on everything else. We be focused on everything else pertaining to everything else except what we really supposed to be doing. And I've just really just come to realize it's like in the times that we are living in, it is very, 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 very important for us to be on our assignment. It is very important for us to be in purpose. This is not the time to be slacking off. This is not the time to be inconsistent with what you're supposed to be doing. And if you do not know what you are supposed to be doing, there are prayers that you can ask God to ask him, what is my purpose? Why did you create me? Why am I here? Like there's something for you to be doing. Not watching Hulu and Netflix all day, not slaving at your 9-to-5 job, not being happy, not being joyful. But we're consistently inconsistent with things that have nothing to do with our purpose. And we really think we're busy. We be out here thinking we making moves. Oh yeah, I'm making moves. I got a new car. I got a new apartment. Okay. And you still not busy. You still not making no moves. I've said this before, and let me look it in my notes because I heard this on a Clubhouse meeting that I was on, and I just loved it. And it came from Dr. I guess he a pastor too, Pastor Chandler Bailey. He said, we are so focused on making money that we do not make moves. God's people make moves. No, God's people make money when they make moves. When he said that, I was like, I got to write that down because I got to share that with my TTS fam. Like, y'all, we are so focused on making money. We are so focused on forced labor. We are so focused on forced labor. Because we have been lazy. And don't get me wrong, I understand. Because sometimes when we are pursuing stuff and we don't see results immediately, we want to give up. But we cannot build a business overnight. You cannot grow your purpose. You cannot grow whatever it is God needs you to do overnight. It's a process. And that's how we end up becoming lazy. And that's how we end up being in positions in forced labor. Because we are so focused on making money. See, when we don't see the money of our business, when we don't see the return investment in our business, when we don't see anything popping off in our business, we start to feel fearful. And I know, I'm not just talking to y'all, I'm talking to myself too. Because I have been guilty of doing that. Oh, well, this ain't working out. This taking too long. Let me go and find a job. Let me go and do this. Thankful enough, God has really blessed me to be in a position where I have side hustles that I can make money, but I haven't been consistent in those side hustles. I actually have this month, and God has really been blessing me. So let me take that back. But what I'm saying is, we are so focused on everything else. We do not make moves. God's people make money when they make moves. And if you don't get that, God's people make money when they are obedient. God's people make money when they are focused in on what he needs them to be focused in on, instead of focusing in on our forced labor, because we are choosing to be lazy in our purpose. We are choosing to be lazy in the obedience. We are choosing to be lazy in our assignments, that we rather take forced labor than what God has promised us. All right, y'all. Okay, I'm finna give y'all 3 prayers to pray to God. Write in your journal. Do whatever y'all need to do. I've said this before. I love doing prayer writing prompts, because God speaks to me through writing. Like, I could pray something and God will immediately say, write this down. And so I got the idea to start doing these, because this is something that I've done with a group before, and this is something that also, this is how God speaks to me. So prayer number 1 is, God, reveal to me what areas in my life have I been consistently inconsistent in. Now, I'm just gonna warn y'all, don't be getting salty when God starts revealing the truth, okay? When he starts showing y'all where you've been consistently inconsistent in, don't get no attitude, okay? Prayer number 2 is, God, reveal to me what opportunities have I missed due to being inconsistent. Y'all, when God revealed to me how many opportunities I missed due to being inconsistent, I was like, bro, you gotta be kidding me. I was low-key hurt. Like, when he told me, I'm like, so you telling me I could have been further off than where I am now, if I had been consistent. Prayer number 3, God, what can I do today to change my inconsistency? You have to, this is what I've learned. I think it's been 2 months now. Since I told God yes. When you decide that you're not going to be inconsistent anymore, when you decide to say yes to what God is asking you to do, it's not just a verbal yes. You have to literally make it up in your mind. You have to agree in your mind, because everything starts in the mind. Like, you can't just say, oh, I'm going to do it, and then 2 days later, you ain't doing nothing. You have to agree with it in your mind. Your mind has to be in agreement, because you're going to have to change your mindset. You're going to have to change your mindset from being inconsistent. You're going to have to change your mindset to change your view and perspective of how you look at your purpose, how you look at your life, how you look at your assignment, how you look at God, how you look at what he's asking you to do. Because when you don't see any fruits in the first 2 weeks, are you going to keep going, or are you going to get lazy? Because Proverbs already tells us diligent hands will rule, but laziness ends in forced labor. So are you going to rule, or are you going to have to go back to that job that you don't like? It's up to you. The choice is yours. God is so gracious enough to give us another chance each and every day that we wake up and have breath in our body. But it is truly up to you if you are going to be obedient, if you are going to be a diligent hand, or are you going to be lazy? Are you going to be consistently inconsistent in what you know that you're supposed to be doing? Some of us walk around and we have no clue what our purpose is. We have no clue what we were even created for. But we so busy. What are you busy doing? You're busy doing nothing. You're consistently inconsistent with your life. I'm going to repeat these prayers one more time. Prayer number 1 is, God, reveal to me what areas in my life have I been consistently inconsistent in. Prayer number 2, God, reveal to me what opportunities I have missed due to being inconsistent. And prayer number 3, God, what can I do today to change my inconsistency? Y'all ask God these 3 things. Y'all pray and you ask him these 3 things. And the next time you think about being lazy, I want you to hear my voice telling you, diligent hands will rule, but laziness ends in forced labor. These is God's words. God said this in his word. These are not my words. Like, when I read that, I was like, whoa. Diligent hands will rule, but laziness ends in forced labor. What are you being consistently inconsistent with? What gifts has God given you that you've been inconsistent with? What gifts has God given you that you've buried, that you haven't used? Or every time you use it and it doesn't work out, you give up. You have to build. You have to toil the ground. You have to build it. It's not going to happen overnight. Do not be lazy with your purpose. Do not be lazy with the gifts that God has placed on the inside of you. All right, y'all. Because I'll be on here preaching. Sometimes I'll be thinking to myself, maybe I could be a preacher in the near future. Who knows? Who knows? Even though the people at my church be prophesying over me, they're like, you're going to be in ministry. You're going to be in ministry. And I'm like, ministry? I'm like, I don't know if I really want to be in front of a congregation. But then I started to realize that this podcast is ministry. I'm ministering to y'all. It's time to get it right. There is people out here that need your gift. There's people out here that is waiting on you to be consistent. There's people out here waiting on you to stop being inconsistent with your gift, with your business plan, with that project, with that whatever you're trying to pursue, whatever God has placed on the inside of you to pursue. There is someone waiting on you to do it. Stop being inconsistent. Stop being consistently inconsistent. I love y'all. That's the only reason I be going in on y'all, because I love y'all. And I want you to be the best you that I know that you can be. We all were created for a purpose. God created us with purpose. And I want you to live up to that purpose. I love you guys. I'm trying to think if I have any more announcements for you guys. I want to plan a TTS fam event. I don't know, it'll probably happen at the end of the year, maybe even the start of next year. But I definitely want to plan some sort of like, maybe like, I don't know why I'm thinking of the word revival, but I'm thinking maybe like I lost my train of thought, y'all. Not a revival, but like just a gathering, like an event, meet and greets, something where we can, come together, talk, express ourselves. I want it to be very, very small, very intimate. But I think I'm going to start planning that because it's really been on my heart a lot lately. So I think I'm going to start looking into that. There's a lot of things that are happening in my life, and I'm just excited to be on this Twisted 20s journey. I'm going to be 25 next month. Y'all, 25. I'm going to be 25 for a long time, okay? That's all I got to say. Even when I turn 30, they're going to be like, how old are you? I'm like, 25. I'm excited to turn 25. I'm excited for where God is taking me. I'm excited for where God is taking Twisted 20s. And I just love and I appreciate each and every single one of you guys who listen to Twisted 20s every single Monday. If you guys are not subscribed to Twisted 20s, please please hit that subscribe button so that you guys know when new episodes are available, as well as subscribing to the Twisted 20s blog at twisted20s.org. I love you guys. Peace, love, and blessings. T. Louise.